The Galactic Council sat in their grand meeting room, a place that floated high above a dying star. The room was filled with strange beings from across the galaxy, each one watching a large screen showing images of Earth. For years, they had studied humans from afar, trying to understand them. They saw how often humans fought wars among themselves, and decided it meant something important. "Humans are weak," said Xylar, an insect-like creature with shiny green skin. "They fight because they are afraid. Fear rules them." Most of the council agreed. To them, humanity seemed like a fragile species, too scared to stand up to real threats. But far away, on a small moon orbiting Earth, Ethan Carter worked late into the night. He was not thinking about fear. Instead, his mind focused on a strange signal he had picked up near Saturn's rings. Ethan was a young astrophysicist, just starting his career at the Lunar Research Facility. His job was to study space, but this discovery was different. The signal was strong, unnatural, and moving fast. It wasn't like anything he had seen before. Excited and nervous, Ethan sent the data to Commander Laura Hayes, his superior at the Interstellar Defense Initiative, IDI. Laura was no stranger to tough decisions. She had spent her life preparing for moments like this. When she received Ethan's report, she didn't waste time. She called him into her office, a simple room with a desk covered in maps of the solar system. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, her voice calm but firm. Ethan nodded. "Yes, Commander. Whatever it is, it's big. And it's heading toward us." Laura stared at the data for a long moment. Something about it made her uneasy, but she couldn't ignore it. Finally, she gave the order. "Take the Aurora and check it out. Keep your team small and stay alert." The Aurora was a sleek, experimental ship designed for deep space exploration. Its silver surface gleamed under the artificial lights as Ethan and 3 other crew members climbed aboard. Among them was Rachel Cole, a skilled pilot, and Mark Lee, an engineer who could fix almost anything. As the engines roared to life, Ethan felt a mix of excitement and fear. What if this was nothing? Or worse, what if it was dangerous? The journey to Saturn took several days, and during that time, the crew talked little about what they might find. Each of them knew the risks. Earth had only recently begun exploring beyond its own solar system, and contact with alien life was still rare. But when they finally arrived, their screens lit up with an image that left them speechless. A massive alien ship loomed ahead, larger than anything they had ever seen. Its dark metal hull bristled with weapons, and its shape looked both menacing and alien. Before they could react, a loud voice boomed over their communication system. "This is Krager of the Vorthok Empire. You are trespassing in our territory. Surrender your planet or face destruction." Ethan froze, unsure of what to do. Rachel quickly took control of the situation, steering the Aurora behind a nearby asteroid to hide. Mark whispered, "What now?" Laura's voice crackled over the radio. "Stay calm. We don't show fear." Back on Earth, news of the encounter spread quickly. People gathered around televisions and radios, waiting for answers. President Matthew Brooks addressed the nation, his tone steady and reassuring. "We will not give in to threats," he said. "We will protect our home." Across the globe, people listened, and instead of panic, there was determination. Factories began producing weapons. Volunteers signed up for training, and scientists worked around the clock to prepare for whatever came next. Far away, the Galactic Council watched in silence. Ziller shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Could we have been wrong? He wondered aloud, but it was too soon to tell. Humanity's true strength had yet to be tested. The crew of the Aurora held their breath as Krager's voice echoed through the ship. The message was clear: surrender or be destroyed. Ethan gripped the edge of his seat, his mind racing. He had studied space all his life, but nothing could have prepared him for this moment. Rachel, her hand steady on the controls, glanced at him. "We can't just sit here," she said quietly. Mark nodded in agreement. though his face was pale. "If we don't respond, they'll think we're weak." Ethan swallowed hard and pressed the communication button. "This is Ethan Carter of Earth. We are not your enemy. If you give us a reason to trust you, we will listen." There was a long pause before Kragor replied, his tone dripping with disdain. "Trust. You are primitive. Your kind knows nothing of power. Surrender now, or we will take what is ours by force." With that, the transmission ended, leaving the crew in stunned silence. Rachel broke the tension first. "What do we do now?" she asked, her voice tight with worry. Ethan looked at Mark, then back at the screen showing the massive alien ship. "We report back to Commander Hayes," he said firmly. "She needs to know everything." Rachel adjusted the ship's course, steering them away from the Vorthek vessel, while keeping a safe distance. The journey back felt longer than before, each second heavy with uncertainty. When they finally reached Lunar Command, Laura Hayes was waiting. Her sharp eyes scanned the data Ethan presented, her expression unreadable. "They gave us an ultimatum," Ethan explained, his voice trembling slightly. "They think we're weak. They think we'll just roll over." Laura didn't respond immediately. Instead, she turned to a large monitor displaying Earth and its surrounding space. "They don't know us," she said finally. "And we won't let them underestimate us." News of the encounter spread like wildfire across Earth. Governments held emergency meetings, and military leaders scrambled to prepare for the worst. President Matthew Brooks addressed the world once again, this time with a stronger tone. "The Vorthak believe we are afraid," he said, standing tall behind a podium. "But they are wrong. Humanity has faced challenges before, and we have always risen to meet them. Together, we will show them that we are not afraid." People listened intently, their fear turning into determination. Factories that once produced cars and electronics shifted to building weapons and defense systems. Scientists worked tirelessly to improve technology, using every resource available. Even ordinary citizens joined the effort, volunteering to help in any way they could. Posters appeared in cities and towns, bearing slogans like "Stand Strong" and "United We Rise." It was as if the entire planet had come together with one purpose: to protect their home. Meanwhile, Ethan and his team continued analyzing the data they had collected. Dr. Emily Shaw, a brilliant scientist stationed at Lunar Command, joined them. She pored over the recordings of Kragor's message, searching for patterns or weaknesses. "Their language is complex," she said after hours of study, "but I think I can decode parts of it. If we understand how they communicate, we might find a way to outsmart them." As days turned into weeks, humanity prepared for the possibility of war. Pilots trained in advanced spacecraft, soldiers practiced new tactics, and engineers built orbital defense platforms around Earth. The Galactic Council watched these developments closely, their earlier assumptions about humans beginning to crumble. Xylar, the insectoid diplomat, spoke up during another meeting. "They are mobilizing faster than we predicted," he admitted. "Perhaps we misjudged them." Other council members murmured in agreement, some looking uneasy. One of them, a tall bird-like creature named Asylon, tilted her head thoughtfully. "Humans are resilient," she said. "They adapt quickly. This could complicate things." The council decided to observe further, unsure of what humanity would do next. Back on Earth, Ethan stood in the control room of Lunar Command, watching as the first orbital platform came online. Its weapons glowed faintly against the blackness of space. For the first time since encountering the Vorthak, he felt a flicker of hope. Humans were not perfect, and they had made mistakes in the past. But they were learning. They were growing stronger. And when the Vorthak returned, they would be ready. The Vorthak's threat hung over Earth like a storm cloud, but humanity refused to give in to fear. Governments around the world set aside their differences and came together in a way no one had ever seen before. The United Earth Alliance, UEA, was born, a single organization dedicated to protecting the planet. Under President Matthew Brooks' leadership, Nations pooled their resources, sharing technology, weapons, and ideas. Factories worked around the clock, producing advanced defense systems and retrofitting old equipment for space combat. Ethan Carter spent most of his days in Lunar Command, working alongside Dr. Emily Shaw and other scientists. They studied every detail of the Vortex ship and its transmissions, searching for weaknesses. Emily often stayed late into the night, her eyes glued to computer screens filled with alien symbols. "If we can understand their language better," she told Ethan one evening, "we might be able to predict their next move." Ethan nodded, impressed by her determination. Together, they pieced together fragments of information, slowly unraveling the Vortex patterns. Meanwhile, Commander Laura Hayes led the effort to train pilots and soldiers for space battles. Among them was Ryan Miller, a young but skilled pilot who had grown up dreaming of flying among the stars. Now those dreams had turned into something far more serious. Ryan trained tirelessly in the new fighter jets designed for space combat, practicing maneuvers that would give humanity an edge in battle. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," he told his fellow pilots during a briefing. "We're fighting for everyone back home." Back on Earth, ordinary people played their part too. Factories buzzed with activity as workers assembled drones, missiles, and orbital platforms. In schools and community centers, volunteers learned basic first aid and emergency response skills. Posters with bold messages like "Together we stand" and "Earth is our home" appeared everywhere, reminding everyone of what was at stake. Even children contributed by collecting scrap metal and organizing fundraisers to support the war effort. President Brooks traveled across the globe, visiting cities and towns to boost morale. Wherever he went, crowds gathered to hear him speak. "The Vortex think we are weak," he said during one speech in New York City. "But they are wrong. Humanity is strong because we stand united. We will protect our planet, no matter the cost." His words inspired millions, filling them with hope and courage. As humanity prepared, the Galactic Council continued to watch from afar. Xylar, the insectoid diplomat, couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. Humans were mobilizing faster than any species he had ever encountered. Their ability to adapt and unite amazed him. During a council meeting, he voiced his concerns. "We underestimated them," he admitted. "They are not driven by fear. They are driven by something else, something stronger." Other council members listened carefully, some nodding in agreement. Xylan, the bird-like creature, added, "Humans have shown remarkable resilience. If we continue to provoke them, we may face consequences we did not anticipate." The council decided to monitor the situation closely, unsure of how events would unfold. On Earth, Ethan and his team made a breakthrough. By analyzing the Vortex communication signals, they discovered that the aliens relied heavily on predictable attack patterns. "This could be our chance," Ethan said excitedly during a meeting with Laura. "If we can anticipate their moves, we can turn their own tactics against them." Laura smiled, a rare moment of optimism crossing her face. "Good work," she said. "Now let's make sure we're ready when they come." As the weeks passed, Earth's defenses grew stronger. Orbital platforms armed with plasma cannons circled the planet, ready to intercept any threat. Pilots like Ryan practiced complex strategies, preparing for the chaos of space combat. Scientists fine-tuned every piece of technology, ensuring it would hold up under pressure. Humanity was no longer the fragile species the Vortex believed them to be. They had become something greater, a united force determined to protect their home. And somewhere deep in space, the Vortex fleet prepared to return. Krager, unaware of the changes on Earth, remained confident in his superiority. But this time, humanity would not back down. This time, they were ready. The Vortex fleet returned, just as Ethan and his team had predicted. Their massive ships moved through space like dark shadows, blocking the light of distant stars. Krager, their leader, was confident. He believed humanity would either surrender or crumble under the weight of his forces, but he didn't know what awaited him near Jupiter. Ethan's plan was risky, but it was the best chance Earth had. Using the information they had gathered about the Vorthak's predictable attack patterns, Ethan proposed setting a trap. The idea was simple: send out decoy signals to make it look like Earth's forces were scattered and unprepared. When the Vorthak chased these false targets, they would be lured into a carefully designed ambush near Jupiter's orbit. Laura Hayes approved the plan, trusting Ethan's judgment. "It's dangerous," she said, "but we don't have many options. Let's make it count." The UEA worked quickly to put the plan into action. Engineers programmed drones to emit fake energy signatures, mimicking the presence of human ships. These drones were sent towards Saturn, creating the illusion of disorganized retreats. Meanwhile, Earth's real forces gathered near Jupiter, hidden behind its massive moons. Pilots like Ryan Miller stayed on high alert, waiting for the signal to engage. The orbital platforms armed with plasma cannons took their positions, ready to unleash devastating attacks. When the Vorthak fleet detected the decoy signals, Craigor sneered. "They are cowards," he growled to his crew. "Just as I expected." Without hesitation, he ordered his ships to pursue the drones, eager to crush the humans once and for all. As the alien fleet moved closer to Jupiter, they felt invincible. They didn't realize they were walking straight into a trap. Ethan watched from Lunar Command as the Vorthak entered the designated zone. His heart raced, but he kept his focus. "Now," he whispered to himself. At his command, the orbital platforms activated, firing powerful plasma beams at the Vorthak ships. The surprise attack caught the aliens off guard, damaging several of their vessels instantly. The UEA pilots surged forward, led by Ryan, who shouted orders over the comms. "Stay sharp. Hit them hard and fast." The battle erupted in chaos. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as human fighters dodged enemy fire and launched counterattacks. Ryan's jet darted between Vorthak ships, targeting their weak points with precision. Other pilots followed his lead, working together seamlessly. Hidden mines planted earlier detonated among the alien fleet, causing even more destruction. Craigor roared in anger, realizing too late that he had underestimated humanity. Back on Earth, people gathered around screens to watch live footage of the battle. News anchors provided updates, their voices filled with tension. Despite the danger, there was a sense of pride among the crowd. Humanity was fighting back, proving that they were not afraid. President Brooks addressed the nation again, his tone steady and proud. "Today, we show the galaxy that Earth will not bow to tyranny. We fight for our future." As the battle raged on, the Vorthak began to falter. Their flagship, once a symbol of their power, was hit repeatedly by plasma cannons and missiles. Fires spread across its surface, and its engines sputtered. Craigor tried to order a retreat, but it was too late. The humans pressed their advantage, striking with relentless determination. Ethan monitored the situation from Lunar Command, his hands clenched into fists. "We've got them," he muttered under his breath. Finally, after hours of intense fighting, the Vorthak fleet broke apart. Damaged ships fled in all directions, leaving behind the wreckage of their failed invasion. Craigor's voice crackled over the comms one last time. "This isn't over," he snarled before cutting the transmission. But Ethan knew the truth. The Vorthak had been defeated, at least for now. When the dust settled, cheers erupted across Earth. The UEA had won, not just the battle but also respect. Humanity had proven that they were not weak or fearful. They were united, clever, and brave. Ethan leaned back in his chair, exhausted but proud. The Galactic Council, watching from afar, realized they had made a grave mistake. Humans were not to be underestimated. And this was only the beginning. The victory near Jupiter was a turning point for humanity. For the first time, Earth had faced an alien threat head-on and emerged victorious. But Ethan Carter knew this was not the end. The Vorthak might return, stronger and angrier than before. Humanity needed to send a clear message, not just to the Vorthak, but to the entire galaxy. "We're not afraid. Ethan said during a meeting at Lunar Command. And we won't back down. President Matthew Brooks agreed. He called for a global broadcast, standing in front of cameras with confidence. Behind him was a large screen showing images of the battle. Human pilots flying through space, orbital platforms firing plasma beams, and the wreckage of Vortex ships drifting in the void. To the stars and beyond, Brooks began, his voice strong and steady. We say this: Earth is our home, and we will protect it. We do not seek war, but we will not cower before those who wish us harm. Humanity stands united, ready to face whatever comes next. The message was broadcast not only to Earth but also transmitted via subspace relays to neighboring star systems. It was a bold move, one that caught the attention of many species across the galaxy. The Galactic Council, watching from their floating citadel, was particularly intrigued. Xylar, the insectoid diplomat, leaned forward in his seat. They are sending a declaration, he said, his antennae twitching. Not just to the Vorthek, but to all of us. Other council members exchanged uneasy glances. Humanity's courage was unexpected, and it made them reconsider their earlier assumptions. Meanwhile, on Earth, life slowly returned to normal, but with a new sense of purpose. People continued working together, strengthening their defenses and improving their technology. Factories kept producing advanced weapons, while scientists like Dr. Emily Shaw pushed the boundaries of innovation. We can't afford to stop now, she told Ethan one evening as they reviewed data from the battle. If we want to survive, we need to keep getting better. Ethan nodded, knowing she was right. The Vorthek defeat was a victory, but it was also a warning. Humanity had to stay prepared. Commander Laura Hayes focused on expanding the Interstellar Defense Initiative, IDI. Pilots like Ryan Miller trained harder than ever, mastering new tactics and testing updated spacecraft. Next time, we'll be even stronger, Ryan said during a training session. His fellow pilots cheered, their determination unwavering. Soldiers practiced ground combat in simulated environments, preparing for any scenario. Even civilians contributed by volunteering for emergency drills and donating resources. As weeks passed, Ethan proposed another idea: reaching out to peaceful alien species. Not everyone out there wants to fight, he explained to Laura. If we build alliances, we'll have allies when we need them most. Laura approved the plan, and soon Ethan began working with Dr. Shaw to decode signals from distant star systems. They hoped to find species willing to communicate and cooperate. It was a slow process, but every small success brought hope. Back on Earth, President Brooks worked to maintain unity among nations. He traveled to different countries, meeting with leaders and citizens alike. This is our moment, he told crowds gathered in public squares. We've shown the galaxy what we're capable of. Let's keep moving forward, together. His words inspired people to stay committed to the cause. Posters with slogans like "One Planet, One Future" appeared everywhere, reminding everyone of their shared goal. The Galactic Council debated what to do about Earth. Some members argued for stricter observation, while others suggested opening diplomatic channels. Thylon, the bird-like creature, spoke up. Humans have proven they are resilient and resourceful. Perhaps it is time we extend a hand instead of watching from afar. Xylar hesitated but eventually nodded. She may be right, he admitted. Ignoring them could lead to more surprises, ones we might not like. In the end, the Council decided to send emissaries to Earth. These representatives would assess humanity's intentions and explore the possibility of cooperation. It was an unprecedented move for a species so new to interstellar politics, but the Council had no choice. Humanity had earned their attention and their respect. On Earth, preparations continued. Ethan and his team monitored incoming signals, eager to make contact with friendly aliens. Laura oversaw the expansion of Earth's defenses, ensuring the planet was ready for anything. And President Brooks reminded everyone that the fight wasn't just about survival. It was about proving that humanity could stand tall among the stars. Humanity had taken its first steps onto the galactic stage. The journey ahead would be difficult, but they were ready. Together, they had faced fear and turned it into strength. And now, they were ready to face whatever came next. The emissaries from the Galactic Council arrived in a sleek, silver ship that glided silently into Earth's orbit. Humanity watched with a mix of curiosity and caution. For years, people had dreamed of meeting alien life, but this was different. These visitors were not here to conquer or destroy. They were here to talk. Ethan Carter stood in Lunar Command, staring at the live footage of the alien ship on a large screen. "This is it," he said softly, his voice tinged with awe. "Our first real chance to connect." President Matthew Brooks greeted the emissaries personally. He stood on a platform near the landing site, surrounded by representatives from every nation. Behind him, cameras captured every moment, broadcasting it to billions of people around the world. The emissaries emerged from their ship slowly, their forms strange but graceful. One of them, a tall being with shimmering blue skin, stepped forward. "I am Lorana," she said, her voice calm and melodic. "We come in peace, seeking understanding." Brooks nodded, his expression serious but welcoming. "Welcome to Earth," he replied. "We are ready to listen." The crowd erupted in applause, but it quickly quieted as the meeting began. Inside a secure conference room, humans and aliens sat together for the first time. Ethan, Laura Hayes, and Dr. Emily Shaw joined President Brooks, representing humanity's scientific and military efforts. Lorana and her companions explained the purpose of their visit: to learn about Earth and explore the possibility of cooperation. Ethan listened intently, taking notes as Lorana spoke. "Your actions against the Vorthek surprised many," she admitted. "You have shown strength and unity, qualities we value. We wish to understand you better." Ethan glanced at Laura, who gave him a small nod. It was clear the Galactic Council no longer saw humanity as weak or insignificant. They were curious, and perhaps even a little cautious. Over the next few days, discussions continued. Ethan and Dr. Shaw shared details about Earth's technology and culture, while Laura explained the structure of the United Earth Alliance, UEA. In return, the emissaries offered glimpses of their own worlds, describing societies vastly different from Earth's. Some were peaceful, relying on diplomacy and trade, while others valued exploration and knowledge. Ethan found himself fascinated by their stories, especially when they mentioned species that had once faced threats like the Vorthek. As the talks progressed, President Brooks emphasized humanity's desire for peace. "We do not seek conflict," he said firmly, "but we will defend ourselves if necessary. Our goal is to build bridges, not walls." Lorana seemed pleased by his words. "Then we share a common purpose," she replied. "Together, we can create a safer galaxy." Meanwhile, ordinary people reacted with excitement and hope. News outlets covered the meetings extensively, sharing images of the emissaries and snippets of their conversations. Posters with messages like "Unity Beyond Earth" appeared in cities worldwide, celebrating this historic moment. Children drew pictures of alien ships and human flags side by side, imagining a future where species work together. Back in Lunar Command, Ethan and his team analyzed everything they learned from the emissaries. They studied maps of nearby star systems, identifying potential allies and resources. Dr. Shaw worked tirelessly to improve communication methods, ensuring humanity could stay connected with its new partners. "This is just the beginning," she told Ethan one evening. "If we play our cards right, we could gain so much, not just protection, but knowledge and friendship." Commander Laura Hayes focused on strengthening Earth's defenses, knowing that not all alien species would be friendly. Pilots like Ryan Miller trained harder than ever, preparing for any scenario. "Peace is great," Ryan said during a briefing, "but we can't let our guard down." "Not yet." His fellow pilots nodded, their determination unwavering. By the time the emissaries prepared to leave, agreements had been made. The Galactic Council promised to help Earth establish formal diplomatic relations with peaceful species, In return, humanity agreed to share certain technologies and contribute to interstellar projects. As Lorana boarded her ship, she turned to Brooks one last time. "You have earned your place among the stars," she said. "May your journey be bright." When the alien ship disappeared into the sky, Ethan felt a surge of pride. Humanity had taken its first steps toward becoming part of something greater. They had proven their strength, earned respect, and opened doors to the unknown. The road ahead would be long and challenging, but Ethan knew one thing for sure: humanity was ready. Together, they had faced fear and turned it into hope. And now, they were looking to the stars. Months passed after the emissary's visit, and Earth began to change in ways no one had imagined. The agreements with the Galactic Council opened doors to new opportunities, but they also brought challenges. Humanity was now part of a larger community, one filled with wonders and dangers alike. Ethan Carter spent most of his days at Lunar Command, working closely with Dr. Emily Shaw to establish communication with friendly alien species. "We're learning so much," Ethan said one evening as he reviewed data from a distant star system. "But there's still so much we don't know." The United Earth Alliance, UEA, continued to grow stronger under Commander Laura Hayes' leadership. Pilots like Ryan Miller trained alongside alien allies, sharing tactics and improving their skills. Soldiers practiced joint missions with species who valued peace but understood the need for defense. Factories on Earth produced not only weapons but also tools for exploration and trade. Humanity was no longer just preparing for war, they were preparing for the future. President Matthew Brooks traveled the globe, addressing crowds eager to hear about Earth's place among the stars. "This is our moment," he told them during a speech in Tokyo. "We've shown the galaxy that we are brave, united, and ready to learn. Let's keep moving forward, together." People cheered, inspired by his words. Posters with slogans like "One Planet, One Galaxy" appeared everywhere, reminding everyone of their shared journey. Despite the progress, challenges remained. Not all alien species welcomed humanity's rise. Some viewed Earth as a threat, while others saw it as an opportunity to exploit. Ethan and his team worked tirelessly to identify potential risks, monitoring signals from unknown ships and analyzing strange energy readings. "We can't let our guard down," Ethan reminded Laura during a meeting. "Just because some aliens are friendly doesn't mean all of them will be." Laura nodded, her expression serious. "Agreed. We'll stay prepared, no matter what." She ordered regular drills for pilots and soldiers, ensuring they were ready for any situation. Orbital platforms armed with plasma cannons remained active, guarding Earth from possible threats. Humanity's determination never wavered. Even as they reached out to the stars, they remembered the lessons of the Vorthek. Meanwhile, ordinary people embraced the changes. Schools added lessons about alien cultures to their curriculums, teaching children about diplomacy and cooperation. Artists created sculptures and paintings inspired by the emissary's visit, imagining what life might be like on other worlds. Even farmers contributed by growing crops suited for space travel, knowing that humanity's next steps would require resources beyond Earth. As time went on, Earth formed alliances with several peaceful species. Trade routes were established, bringing new technologies and ideas. Scientists like Dr. Shaw collaborated with alien researchers, exchanging knowledge about medicine, energy, and space exploration. "It's incredible," she told Ethan one day, her eyes shining with excitement. "Every day we discover something new, something that could help us all." The Galactic Council watched Earth's transformation with growing respect. Zillar, the insectoid diplomat, admitted during a council meeting that humanity had exceeded expectations. "They are resilient," he said, "and they are willing to adapt. Perhaps they will become valuable members of our community." Other council members agreed, though some remained cautious. They knew the galaxy was vast and unpredictable. Back on Earth, Ethan stood in Lunar Command, staring at the stars through a large window. He thought about everything that had happened: the battles, the victories, the alliances, and felt a deep sense of pride. Humanity had started as a fragile species, misunderstood and underestimated, but they had proven themselves strong, clever, and united. Now, they were stepping into a brighter future. Ethan smiled as he turned back to his work. There was still so much to do, so many mysteries to uncover, but he knew one thing for sure. Humanity was ready. Together, they had faced fear and turned it into hope. And now, they were looking to the stars, not as strangers, but as equals. The journey ahead would be long and uncertain, but Ethan believed in humanity's strength. After all, they had already shown the galaxy what they were capable of. Humanity wasn't just surviving anymore. They were thriving.